Hey guys, Ryan Osborne back with Mark Kabuke, video number 3. And so today, cut right into it, is we're going to really kind of just hone in on a little bit more specific, because I know we touched on the last video from recovery in terms of the value of sleep, but Mark really wants to kind of just have a couple of really key points in terms of sleep issues and stress, and kind of, again, just kind of managing stress levels and things like that. So yeah, I guess from the sleep, again, like you talked about, sleep debt, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just the importance, and for many people, just the functioning, issues that come from that.
You don't need to complicate sleep, I don't think.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Obviously we have these 4 to 5 stages. They last certain times for different people, blah, 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 blah. But most people don't know where sleep starts.
Okay.
Sleep starts right in there, right in that gut. So what's called your circadian rhythm, your biological clock, starts with your probiotics. Did you know that? Most people don't. Because melatonin is actually created by your gut, by probiotics. So if you're inflamed, not eating properly, malnourished, that thing ain't working properly. So how am I going to get you to sleep? Fix your diet, fix your recovery, fix your exercise. Kind of interesting, right? I'm not giving you a bunch of stuff to put you to sleep. So sleep is always one of those delicate balances, because I think the things that we do in the day influence what we do at night. So how commonly is this? This comes up for everybody. At 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning, I wake up, and then 3 and 5. I wake up. Most people drink coffee then, and they eat. So it's kind of interesting. Those are the two things on the biological clock and the rhythm. They relate to each other. So it's kind of interesting when I see someone that wakes at 5 every morning. The things that I do is change their meal times. And sometimes over the course of say weeks, that's enough to get them to sleep.
Wow.
Right?
That's great.
Maybe you got that 1 o'clock in the afternoon, you're having that cup of coffee after your lunch, or maybe your cup of coffee is lunch. And what happens at 1 o'clock at night? You're watching the ceiling fan spin around the ceiling, right? So take that cup of coffee away, replace it with real food, and you go to sleep.
Just to touch on that, because I mean, again, I hear it from some people saying, "Oh man, is there a certain time limit?" Because obviously everybody responds to caffeine differently, and it all can be in terms of even the amount of food that you've eaten that day, other things that component to it. But is there I guess a specific, definitive timeline of not having caffeine, in a certain time? Is it really valuable, or is it kind of like, it's...
I say after
you get
lunch.
Great sleep regardless.
I say after lunch is the time that you should cut caffeine out of your day. Again, keep in mind, I do a lot of lab work to kind of measure stress hormone levels and cortisol responses and melatonin and all that fun stuff. So I'm kind of at a little bit of a competitive advantage when I tell someone when to eat caffeine or when not to. But I don't do that with everybody.
Fair enough.
So I know for me, like, I can't have a second cup of coffee after lunch. It will drive me insane. Whereas I have other people that drink coffee at 8 o'clock at night and go to bed at 9:30. No sweat, right? So here's what's interesting. Everybody has a certain type of what's called oxidation rate in their body. How fast you burn through minerals and stimulants. And we get that from your hair, actually. So we measure your hair. When there's certain mineral imbalances in your hair. And don't zoom in on that. But there's certain mineral imbalances in the hair that show if you're what's called a fast oxidizer or a slow oxidizer of certain minerals. And slow oxidizers do horribly well with caffeine. So if I see on your hair that you're a slow oxidizer, you ain't getting coffee after 10:30 in the morning. Whereas if you're a fast oxidizer, you might be able to get away with a 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock cup of coffee. So there is a little bit of, I guess, a structural number you can assign to should and shouldn't you do caffeine.
Okay, fair enough.
But as a rule of thumb, if you're having trouble sleeping, not after lunch.
Okay. So talk about with the stress, and I know we're often just...
So look, there's nothing you can do about the fact that you have to pay your car payment and your mortgage payment, and you got kids, and you got lack of sleep. I have a 6-month-old who's going through sleep training. Listen, I'm dying for some sleep. But I know I'm accumulating what we call the sleep debt, and sleep debt is just like you accumulating money debt. You have to pay back these components if you're not getting solid, restful night's sleep. But so many of us can go years and years and years and years. My father is one of these people. Goes years without paying back that sleep debt. Like that guy can sleep 3 hours a night and he still functions fine. I don't get it. Right? I can't even. That would be torture for me. Nuts. But I think so many of us need to do some lifestyle stuff to begin with. So look, I think trying to have a little maybe of a light meal, it's something that might have a bit of protein in it, might actually help you create some of those sleepy hormones. Turkey is one of my favorites because it has that tryptophan, and that tryptophan is going to hopefully go back to melatonin. There's a trick for that, but it doesn't work, by the way. We can have a cover that later. But there's always tricks. But look, I think some of it is too the stress hormones, right? We're all under stress. We have biological stress. We got money stress. We got relationship stress. We all got stress. But here's my challenge to everyone that's watching this video. On the left side of a piece of paper, write down your stressors. And on the right side of the paper, write down the answer that you do for that stressor. And what I find predominantly when I do this with people is that it's severely teeter-totter to one side.
Yeah.
So many of us are not doing enough things that bring us happiness and joy. And, when was the last time you laughed till your face hurt? When was the last time you stood outside when it was windy and just realized it was windy? Like just being in the moment and kind of getting present and not dealing with all the crap that we have on the back burners all the time, I think is crucial.
Okay, great.
But things like getting out for walks, getting out for exercise, trying to eat a more balanced diet, cutting caffeine out, all these things will help you sleep, yes. But again, you got to keep in mind that stress hormone and melatonin are inversely related.
Okay.
When one is high, the other is low. So if your day is leading to you having high stress values all day, you can be rest assured that your melatonin is in the toilet. So at some point, you have to make the transition from the stress being high to the melatonin being high.
Yeah.
And you have to do that with lifestyle choices.
Choices.
And the biggest one I see most people, you have to control your blood sugar.
Okay.
So if that means you have to eat every couple of hours and graze, fine. If that means that you can, I'm okay with fasting. Yeah. I eat breakfast and supper, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Some people aren't.
Yeah.
So it just depends on what works for you.
Okay.
So that's kind of my spiel. 2-minute spiel. 5-minute spiel, whatever it was.
No, but that's great, Mark. No, I think there's like I said, a lot of real world value in it, and I love giving little simple tests that you can do in a few minutes, but it gets you thinking. But it really just kind of, like you said, it really broadens your scope and shows, I guess, the value of, well, yes, my stress is this, my value is that, but how do I really put it into practice, right?
Yeah.
So something like that, where you're kind of just understanding, okay, like you said, everybody does have the stress, but what specifically do you even address your common stressors, right? Because it's just, I've got these issues, got this, I'm not happy with this, but blank, where are you with kind of helping to kind of manage it? So
stop telling your story.
Yeah.
Start acting.
Start acting.
Right? That's as simple as it is.
Look at this. Yeah, cool, man. If there's no other kind of comments or suggestions, I hope, like I said, you've got some really key kind of takeaways with this. I mean, a key component of this is to, try to get some engagement on this. So if there's any questions that you have that might be related a little bit more specific to Mark, then certainly he may be able to chime in at least just to kind of, put in a general response to it. But but in the meantime, really appreciate, obviously, your advice and time and everything like that. And we'll see you soon with another specialist.
Bye-bye.
See you, bud.